Building on supervision, why delegation matters. In Section 1, we established that supervision is the foundation of a brokerage. Now we take the next step, delegation. In real-world brokerage operations, no designated broker can personally oversee every file, every agent, and every transaction at all times. Delegation becomes not just helpful, but necessary. However, this is where many brokers make critical mistakes. Delegation, when done incorrectly, does not reduce liability. It increases exposure. This section will show you how to delegate effectively while staying fully compliant with Arizona law. The legal standard, ARS, paragraph 32(2)(153, and broker responsibility, ARS, paragraph 32(2)(153, is one of the most important statutes a broker must understand because it outlines the grounds for denial, suspension, or revocation of a license. One of the most critical provisions is subsection A21, which states that a broker may be disciplined for failing to exercise reasonable supervision over licensees or the brokerage entity. This means that even when tasks are delegated, the legal responsibility never leaves the designated broker. The law does not recognize "I didn't know" as a defense. If it happened within your brokerage, you are accountable. Delegation versus responsibility, the line you cannot cross. A broker may delegate tasks, but cannot delegate responsibility. This is a critical distinction that defines compliant brokerage operations. For example, a designated broker may assign an associate broker to review contracts, oversee transactions, or manage a branch office. However, if that associate broker fails to properly review a contract and a legal issue arises, the designated broker is still responsible under ARS, paragraph 32(2)(153. This is why delegation must always include clear policies, documented authority, and ongoing oversight. Delegation without structure is not delegation, it is negligence. Who can be delegated authority? Understanding the law. Arizona law is very specific about who can receive delegated authority. Under ARS, paragraph 32(2)(151.01g, a designated broker may authorize an associate broker in writing to review and initial transaction documents within 10 business days of execution. This includes listing agreements, purchase contracts, and leases. Additionally, under ARS, paragraph 32(2)(127 and Commissioner's Rule, R4-28-304, a designated broker may designate individuals to manage branch offices. However, the level of authority depends on the license type. An associate broker can perform higher-level duties, such as supervising agents and reviewing contracts, while a salesperson's authority is more limited. The key takeaway is simple. Not everyone in your brokerage can be delegated the same authority, and improper delegation can lead directly to violations. Delegation in action. Real-world example. Imagine a brokerage with multiple offices across the Phoenix metro area. The designated broker assigns an associate broker as a branch manager and authorizes them to review contracts. Everything seems compliant on paper. However, the broker fails to implement a system to periodically audit those files. Over time, errors begin to slip through, missing disclosures, incorrect dates, and incomplete signatures. When a complaint is filed, ADRI does not just look at the associate broker, it looks at the designated broker's system of supervision. If there is no evidence of oversight, training, or review, the designated broker may face discipline under ARS, paragraph 32(2)(153. This example highlights a critical truth. Delegation without verification is a major risk. Temporary delegation, absence of the designated broker under ARS, paragraph 32(2)(127d. A designated broker may temporarily designate another licensee to act on their behalf for up to 30 days. This must be done in writing, and proper documentation must be maintained. This is commonly used during vacations, emergencies, or short-term absences. However, even in these situations, the original designated broker retains ultimate responsibility. This reinforces the consistent theme of this course. Authority may shift temporarily, but liability does not. Entity supervision, LLCs, corporations, and partnerships. When operating through an entity such as an LLC or corporation, ARS, Paragraph 32 to 125 requires the designation of a natural person as the designated broker. This individual is responsible for supervising all licensed activity conducted under that entity. This is especially important in larger brokerages, where ownership and management may be separated. Even if the business structure is complex, the law is simple. One designated broker is responsible for supervision and compliance. How delegation connects to risk management and future sections delegation directly impacts every area we will cover moving forward. In Section 3, we will explore the standard of care and how failures in delegation often lead to lawsuits. In Section 4, we will connect delegation to errors and omissions insurance, where poor supervision can result in denied claims. In Section 5, we will see how improper delegation affects advertising compliance. And in Section 6, we will tie everything back to agency and disclosure responsibilities. Everything continues to build. Strong delegation supports strong supervision, and strong supervision protects your license. Online discussion. Question 1. Why does ARS, paragraph 32 to 153, make delegation a high-risk area for brokers? Answer: because the statute holds brokers accountable for failure to supervise, even when tasks are delegated. This means any mistake made by a delegated individual can still result in disciplinary action against the designated broker. Question 2. What is the most important requirement when delegating authority to an associate broker? Answer: the delegation must be in writing, clearly define the authority given, and include ongoing supervision and oversight by the designated broker. Question 3. What is the biggest mistake brokers make when delegating tasks? Answer: assuming that responsibility transfers with the task. In reality, the designated broker remains fully responsible for all actions within the brokerage.